Now, the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission has penalized 8 electricity distribution companies because, according to them, they failed to adhere to the monthly energy caps imposed on estimated billing for unmetered customers. And I hear reactions following this that a lot of consumers are happy about this, but also even those who have been capped or grouped into the band A, band B, and band C also have their own complaints. How much electricity have been given onto them? I think they're supposed to have at least 20 hours a day or so. Let's delve into this, because even with all of the agro processing areas and zones, electricity is at the center of its functionality. So let's discuss this now with the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Enerplus Energy Solutions Limited, Mr. Yusuf Tumi Abubakar, joins us from our Abuja studio. Good morning, Mr. Abubakar. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Annie. It's been a while. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good to have you. So I don't know if you heard about this story of discos being penalized because they're not able to meet up with the electricity level they're supposed to distribute to unmetered customers. And of course, we've been talking about the issue of metering. The minister has told us that the first batch of about 75,000 meters will be accepted. This will be received this month, and another about 22,000 or so will be received next month. So we keep talking about metering and all of that. But for you, do you see positive movement in the area of electricity generation, supply, distribution in the country, in spite of all these policies and talks that we've been hearing in the country?
Thank you very much, Ini. Like the last time we had a conversation, policies take time, and also putting those policies in effect also takes time, which means engagement with the people. And also, if you look at the system we have, it's been manageable for a very long time, and we've managed to make it work. Now, this time we need to make sure that people are onboarded on metering, because metering is an integral part of electricity generation and distribution. We need to know how much consumption we're even bringing out there. All those data needs to be captured. So I think it's a step to the right direction. Nigerians would have to work with the government hand in hand. It's more of a collaborative effort between the government, the people, and the investors in the business. Sorry, I think the line is breaking a little bit.
No, go ahead. I can hear you. I can hear you, Tumi. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So policies are very, very important because it drives investors to come in. No investors is coming to a structure where there's no structural policy that would make their investment viable. So, and also engagement, incentivizing the masses as well, trying to, the communication gap should also be filled, because it's very important that we have consistency in communication. And I've also seen a lot of great policies, like the REMP, rural REMP, and REAP as well, which is a national energy efficiency policy, which pushes sustainability, and then the rural electricity as well. So all those policies are eventually going to give us better grids, and also the renewable energy that's coming in. So I feel we need to do better in terms of partnership, and we can see how this expansion of policies and investors can collaborate and coexist effectively.
Yeah, well, the thing is, to me, even yourself, you've mentioned like how many policies in the electricity sector. So these policies come. I remember MAPS. MAPS is, I think, it's about 7 years old now. That's a meter asset distribution. We have a certain group of people that are supposed to deal with the meters, which obviously supposed to drive the electricity distribution. And we've had a lot of policies, but can we say there's a movement, there's progress at all, in spite of these laudable policies and announcements that we have heard?
So I, and this is where communication is very effective in this industry, because it's a very sensitive industry, and not just I can tell you for sure how effective the policies have been. If you look at what the REAs are doing from the rural electrification side, making sure decentralized and renewable energy comes in to coexist. The meters as well, we could do more. We could actually do more if we have more metering vendors. To the population of disenfranchised meters is a whole lot to capture. I can tell you that for sure. So we need even more better technology in making sure that we can capture more houses and more people who needs this meter. Estimated meter would not really help us in the long run, in all honesty. Looking at what we've had. But I also looked at the mix 50-50 of Mr. President that has to do with the mix of renewable energy, wind, solar, and if we can achieve those within states, and because, like you said, we have a lot of policies. We also need state governments to, take the lead as much as the federal government is taking the lead, because that would bring even more innovative way of how to generate energy, because different states has different resources on energy generation. So I don't think we will follow the policy, because we need the policy. We need the policy for investors to come in. A lot of times, 9 out of 10 times why we don't see investors are because of policies. No investor would bring millions of dollars in this industry and want to invest, and there are no policies supporting that investor's investment. So I know we've had this conversation back and forth about policies, but we need it. We need the consistency of it, which is very important. I think Mr. President and his team, they're trying, and I think also if we can all come together, because this is much more of a collaborative effort as opposed to an individual effort. The federal government cannot solve the power issue alone. The private sector cannot solve the power issue alone. We need also the masses to comply in terms of making sure they use the metering that we have, because it's a profit-driven venture. And if we really want to move to the next level, we need to sort out the energy problem we're facing in Nigeria today. We have the capacity, we have the resources. We just need to be more creative about how to achieve these things. So I think the policies would work eventually. Nigeria should be patient with the present government. And I think if we can, create more communication and find a way to bridge those gaps, we would see the light, definitely.
Well, we have the policies. Investors, I think, apart from hearing or reading the policies, they would like to see the policies in action. That is also what they need to get confidence. But I mean, talking about the states, we know that there's a law now that empowers states to work with the private sector, mostly generates, distributes energy. So, and we hear some states have domesticated it and are working on it. They already have some partners and all of that. But you did talk about President Tinubu's aim of 50-50, talking about the energy mix by 2030, from where you are and what interactions you've had in the sector. How can we really achieve that? Because I don't know, it doesn't look like we have some intentional action that's driving towards 2030. That's in 5 years, and there are infrastructural gaps to be covered. There's also the sentiment of adoption to be covered. The other day, the federal government was proposing banning import of panels, solar panels, and a lot of individuals in in that value chain say it won't be a good idea. So does it look to you that we can achieve that 50-50 by 2030?
I think we can really achieve. I think it's a good mixed policy that is provided, looking at the problems we have with the failed grid most times, and that also could be a process where the grids can be supported by those three mix, the solar, the wind, and the turbines. And I know the problem we as Nigerians, when we look at policies and we feel like it's not being effectively put into action. And I would like to really say that, not to also give an excuse for the government, but also say that these things take time. The state can also, based on the rules that we have today, that the state can generate its own energy. I think it's a good way to move decentralized energy, to also find a way where the state can also be supporting the federal government, and then they could be back and forth balance sheet in terms of energy. Like I said, energy is a profit-driven venture. And this could also spawn the industrialization of Nigeria, because we need energy to do our manufacturing. So if we're talking about the solar silt or structure that we need to put in place, we need those policies to go through. One, for manufacturing, for investors to be able to come and put solar factories, because that means we will be competing directly with one of the biggest solar manufacturers around the world. So we need all those policies to go. We also need engagement within financial institutions, the banks, common tokenized structures that could work for our energy grids within the renewable energy sector. We have a lot of young people, and I'll say to you, Ini, we have a lot of young people that have been working on this renewable energy sector. You would be amazed how many young people across Nigeria that have been working in this energy sector, even in the rural, especially in the rural areas. I can name you a couple names, and not to go into that. But I would also like to say, financial institution needs to support. It's very important, because finance, to build any energy, as much as a 1 megawatt, you're talking about 1.8 million, give or take. And this is a lot of money. So people who are actually in the business know how much money they are losing. So we need not just the policy, but the enforcement of the policy. And then we need the compliance of the people to understand that, for us to move to the next level, these are the hard pills we need to swallow. And I feel with deliberate and concise intention from the state government would go a long way in terms of our energy, would transition, because energy is never enough. No matter, even if we try to do 1 million megawatts, there's still going to be demand. Grids might go off. You still need to support the grids. Technology are wearing out. More new technologies are coming in. Consumption of manufacturing are going up high. So we need to bridge all those gaps. So when it comes to manufacturing, I think it's a really good idea what the president is trying to do. Nigerian standard-based products. So we have value chain within our ecosystem. And it also gives us that independence, because it's if you look at it in a broad spectrum, energy security is actually very important for any state.
All right, so just a moment, just a moment, because we have to lead our DSTV viewers now to Taraba State, where there's a flag off of Free to Shine triple elimination campaign of HIV and AIDS, syphilis and hepatitis. Taraba State has been really busy since yesterday, and it's happening at the Jolly Yame Stadium in Jalingo, the state capital. That's for our DSTV viewers. For our viewers on other platforms, Business Morning still continues. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to stay with us here on Business Morning, just switch to the next window, the next YouTube platform, and you'll stay with us. So sorry, Timmy, please do go ahead.
Okay, so the energy policies are very important. If you look at Renewable Energy Master Plan by Energy Commission, you would see they have a structure of what they are trying to achieve within the Energy Commission. And there are different parastatals. Rural electrification has its own policy on achieving rural electrification within the rural areas. So at least our rural clusters could actually produce more products and be independent to also export as well. So energy is very important in every strata of our economy, be it the rural side, but when you're coming to invest such equipment, such large technology, especially on the renewable side, it costs a lot of money. You also need to make sure that money you're recouping it in the next 30 years. So I think we need long-term plan. We need financial institutions to make inclusion within the private sector, the public sector, and the masses, and say, this is what we're doing. This is our roadmap. This is how we want to achieve it. We're going to give you lights. We're also going to charge for these lights because it's not free. Energy is not free. I think the subsidy of energy should be restructured.
All right, and we hear a lot of that, removal of subsidy on energy, electricity, and all, and we'll see the steps that the government will take in dealing with that. Thank you so much, Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Enerplus Energy Solutions Limited, Mr. Yusuf Tumi Abubakar.
Thank you very much, Amy.